in a month. Thomas Frank today refers to a formation that served him very well in his old job in charge of Brentford. It's a 3-down central defence, so Giuliano Vicario, who's looking for his first clean sheet in a North London derby, starts behind day 3 of Christian Romero, Nicky Brekelven and Kevin Danso, who will be arrested at set-piece situations at both ends of the field. Destiny and Dougie returns from a knee injury as Jed Spence switches to the right in place of Pedro Porro. There is good news for the visitors in the shape of Muhammad Kudus, who's fitted up to start his first game in 3 weeks. Richarlison leads the attack. He's never scored in a North London derby. And on the bench, Brennan Johnson, who did score for his national team Wales on Tuesday. Just so many near misses in recent title races. It is on days like this that Arsenal want to show that they are the real deal, the genuine article. It's the 10th managerial meeting of Mikel Arteta and Thomas Frank. Arteta has only been beaten on one of them so far. That was when Arsenal lost to Frank's Brentford back in 2021. The only two clubs to lift the Premier League trophy in the last 8 years. Yesterday, suddenly, this North London derby offers Arsenal more than just the usual bragging rights. It offers breathing space at the top of the Premier League table. Already a high-octane atmosphere. The Spurs are going to make a statement. Why not make it here? The Arsenal team have not lost at home this season against a Spurs side that are unbeaten away from home in the league.
Yeah, this makes it really interesting, doesn't it? Something's got to give. Early stages in any derby game, you want to get up to speed. You want to make sure that you're right in the thick of it as quickly as you possibly can.
Destiny and Dougie for Kudus. Initially that we will be feeling extra responsibility today in the absence of his regular partner Gabriel. And he's been in charge of many London derbies in the past. He's not been in one of these yet.
Not quite like this one. His team are going to have to be at their very best to come here and leave with smiles on their faces.
There's 15 years to the week since Tottenham Hotspur Football Club last won a Premier League game away at Arsenal. Jesse Dougie, who has recovered from his recent injury situations. He's missed pretty much a quarter matches through injury, but when he's been on the field, he creates a lot of chances for Spurs. Declan Rice. Native reaction for Southampton. Pocket picks by Udoka.
That's the ball, but don't be afraid to go beat there. There's the dog. He's trying to roll that perfectly into the path of Richarlison. Just put it in behind Saliba. Turn them round. And whenever you go away from home, he'll be very aware of that. Thomas Frank. When we play in Arsenal's territory, can we get it in behind their back line as often as we can early on?
Arsenal's defensive steel, conceded some few goals, their set-piece superiority, they propelled them to the top of the league. Well, the next few months we're going to see if Arsenal can stay there.
Brilliant little fit from Eze here, because he's got nothing else he can do. Lovely work from Saka, fast ball into watch this here. He can't do anything other than scoop it, and he does it perfectly right into the path of who hits that really well. Ball number 11, get over the top of that on the volley, keep it down, does everything right. Comes back off the goalie, hits Danso and out for a corner, but very nearly. Arsenal finding a way through.
All season long, Arsenal have been turning dead balls into long corners. Saka's delivery devilish again. Spurs breathe as Timber puts it up for a goal kick.
Just got a little too much on there, Yuri Timber. Good start on your home team. Asking the first couple of questions, that's what you want.
He admitted Thomas Frank on his team selection today very much with Arsenal's set-piece prowess in mind. The Spurs look bad set pieces themselves. Could be a big factor today. Arsenal both won the Champions last season. It's won the Spurs Stadium in September. Talked last year in the Emirates in January. When the Spurs scored first that day through Son. Arsenal came up to win. It was a Dominic Solanke own goal. It was a winning strike for Leandro Trossard. It's Timber. There was an injury down for this game. He picked up a leg problem with the Netherlands, but he was still the other as you can see. It's Mikel Merino. Timber. To Saka. Spurs just take the opportunity to take a couple of steps out now, but they'll step out too far. Deception by Timber. Arsenal only had 3 wins. He's a very important player to the way Arsenal play. Timber. Arsenal's position lofty at the top of the Premier League sees them very much fancied overwhelmingly by the win probability computers so far.
And it's going to be a difficult ball for Richarlison there. Van der Ven trying to clip that one 30-40 yards into his striker's chest. That's not going to be easy. I think with the pace of Odegaard and Kudus, again, early on, don't be afraid to go in behind them. And if you're just trying to knock everything into Richarlison's feet, he's going to be so closely guarded, particularly by Saliba. Yep, there's the man they're missing on the right. There's a view there.
So Martin Odegaard as well, keeping a keen eye on proceedings despite not yet being available to play. Trossard. Vicario to Ndoki, to Italians combined. And to call back to Ricky Van der Ven, who's been Spurs' top scorer this season. His attempt to control his goal for the Spurs throw. We seem to just physically look to see if Kevin Danso fancy coming forward and launching a long throw with that. Merino, effectively arrives late on the wrong side of the rules.
Yeah, Mikel Merino just making first contact there, knew he was going to get contact, happy to do so, a free kick. No surprises, Michael Owen. He will give this game as much of a chance as he possibly can. There'll be a time when the ref will have to step in and start being a bit firmer, as ever in these matches. To start with, he'll be as lenient as he possibly can.
Piero, Incapié, very much central protection. He'll be hoping for a steady here. Ndoki holding his nerve under pressure from Saka. Protection is just Timber. a great chance to win that. Ciampoliglia. Spurs have been fully clear of this. Nice to Calafiori, another who's an injury tackle who's made the team.
Particularly if you're in a white shirt in these opening moments, Arsenal swarming all over that ball wherever it's bobbing around.
Spurs the worst thing. Locked away, possibly now.
I think he's got up now. Come on, let's sharpen up. Let's be a little bit quicker all round. Not really got going yet. Haven't had a considered spell with the ball at their feet yet, Spurs. Certainly not in the Arsenal half.
Christian Romero knows that his team's record on the calories is not good enough. Almost 10 minutes in, we saw dominating the early possession stats. To Rice. Too close to Romero. Kudus has been a creative hub for Spurs in many regards this season. Don't be shut down this Saturday. Arsenal player to make his first Premier League start in the North London derby in almost a decade. And the last one to do it was the Egyptian Mo El Neni, almost 10 years ago. So he's recovered well with the Austin. Just no one that. Ciampoliglia. No room to breathe.
Not at all over the pitch. Your man drops in short to go and receive the ball, you go with him. That's very much the message from Mikel Arteta. These players, I think, have started the game very well.
Arsenal's throw again. Ciampoliglia. His stats are always right up there amongst the very best in the Premier League. First problem to ponder for Mikel Arteta.
Not sure what that is, that problem there. We'll probably see it a little better here. He just gets caught on his feet by Ciampoliglia. Pretty sure. Whilst that's a sore one for Leandro Trossard, hopefully he'll be back up on his feet. Needs a bit of treatment.
Would be a suitable replacement for Ballard. He must be frustrated looking on at such a strong start to the season. He's hoping to make his first appearance for Arsenal since September today on the bench.
Yeah. I think when you see those two guys, those two options that Mikel Arteta has, just goes to reinforce the strength and depth that he has sitting behind him these days. Just caught him on the side of his ankle, that one, as I said, a bit sore.
And medium to the knee as well, perhaps.
Maybe that's the one coming, you're right, that's giving him a little bit more of a problem.
Leandro Trossard got the winning goal against Spurs in this fixture last season. He also scored twice against Tottenham Hotspur back in his Brighton days. Calafiori's throw. Trossard as well against Mourinho. is Calafiore. Marino. Sliding in, Charles Palomilla. And looks like service return to the field of play. Arsenal back to 11.
Looks like Saliba and Nketiah moving forward. A long throw from Nicola Calafiore here.
I would imagine much of Spurs training sessions this week are preparing for Arsenal set piece situations. Kudus stops a bit source here from Calafiore, certainly impeded it. For the first time, unconvincing clearances threatened to derail Spurs.
They have had a few of those. And at some point they've got to kind of snap out of this staying in the game kind of mentality, sitting deep and just trying to stay solid. They've got to get the ball into Kudus, a lot of their speed, as I mentioned, in those wider areas where they can start making something happen themselves.
Robert Kudus, who scored against Arsenal for his own team, West Ham in the past, and was in the Premier League was in the League Cup game. Here's Marino. Adaptive tackle from Dassos and slapped out of the back end during possession. Free kick to the visitors. Spurs have conceded the fewest away goals in the Premier League this season. They've only let in 3 on their travels. All of his outfield teammates to push forward and let him take this one. Nobody mentioned Richarlison much, we don't mention William Holiday much. Can Spurs get their attacking players involved a bit more? Big one for the Arsenal fans who static on their claims there. Looking at the event, just pushing into it. Zubimendi. Saliba back to Julian Timber.
Because where it's going to be difficult, particularly I think for Palomilla and Bentancur in the middle of the park, because Arsenal playing Marino up front. He's not going to stand up the middle like a conventional number 9. He's going to move and roam about, pick up the position in the midfield areas, which means that Spurs will have those 3 centre halves picking up over.
So this ball was behind Desiree. Collided with Mickey van der Ven. The referee allows it to continue again. Up on his feet. This is second. Eventually, the free kick Arsenal's way. Balls again. Welcome Derby, which flays the nerves and the frustrations more than most.
Certainly, he was really tight on Bukayo Saka. I don't think he's done a lot wrong there, to be honest. I really don't. In the end, he might feel a little aggrieved that he received a bit of a nudge in the back when he looked like he just pinched the ball. But they've got to keep their heads. Spurs decisions will go against you, they won't like some of them. Just got to make sure you keep nice and cool and stay focused.
Gabriel today. Still Arsenal with no shortage of targets to aim for here. 50% of Arsenal's goals this season have come from set pieces.
That's a low line, isn't it, that they're holding there? Tottenham boys right on the 6-yard line. That might be right. Bukayo Saka fancy just having a strike instead. It's not always easy actually to pick someone out, but you can see the Spurs players there very deep. Usually they'd be somewhere between the edge of that 6-yard box and penalty spot.
He scored home and away against Spurs 2 seasons ago. Bukayo Saka scored a penalty here in the Emirates that campaign. Declan Rice. he looks, the referee can't believe he made a free kick there. Timber. Well, there's that shot.
Very good. Put himself across the cover nicely and controlled the header beautifully there. Christian Romero. There you go. Another one. Pass into that final third from Spurs so far. That's got to get a lot better.
Not just London derbies, but London derbies in general. Arsenal dominated over the past couple of seasons. They've taken more points against the neighbouring clubs of the capital than any other team. Again, the carrier comes out to take a set piece. Positions there, it's played towards Danso. Saliba. João Palhinha gives it to Saka. Nestro's going to get back. Trossard in pursuit. Trossard's rolling out the ground.
Every little challenge, every time they get a foot in. Asking the fans to respond there. Jed Spence just a little unsure on his left foot, but knocking that one back to his goalkeeper.
Did really well to get there, Jed Spence, that he just seemed to freeze a little. Calafiori in ahead of Kudus. Nice flexing forward. Marino against Romero. Kudus, it's a brilliant scrap. Richarlison. Well done for Kaiser Randy, actually. Stayed alongside of all that.
Read that nicely, didn't he, Conor? That was the right ball. First time, I think, in open play, Spurs have actually tried to clip something behind Arsenal.
Persistent presence of Valdemiro, Bukayo Saka. Arsenal have only conceded 5 goals in their 11 Premier League games so far. But, of course, it's a big derby-sized pot in Gabriel today. It's featured in all the Premier League games this season, Julian Timber. Almost midway through the first half of the Emirates. 5 changes today. It's quite a lot for Thomas Fleck.
Nothing to show yet for Spurs. Having said that, Arsenal aren't exactly now peppering Vicario's goal either. So again, a good possession, all those numbers that are favouring the home team, can they convert that now into chances, genuine ones?
Well held up by Richarlison, Kudus flipping it back infield. Gets warm applause from the Arsenal fans as he throws it away. No free kick for Arsenal this time. Trossard. Nicholas Alcantara. possession. Declan Rice, who's had the best chance of the game so far, saved by Vicario. Subimendi to Timber.
Reluctant just to throw it in the box. Certainly from these deeper positions because of the height and strength that Spurs have in those central defensive positions. And if they get really wide and high up the field, then you can just whip something, it doesn't matter.
Fiori dares it went to Cooper, just anticipated that was going to happen. Jet Spence. Just runs. You've got the Premier League's only unbeaten away record this season. It's felt to the build up to this one, but today it's going to be the biggest test of that record's continuing. 24 minutes in, Spurs are hoping they've weathered the early storm.
It's the second time Michael Oliver's had a word with the Tottenham skipper. I don't know whether he's had a word with him individually or wanted something out to the rest of it.
It's getting more and more animated.
Yeah, it's a poor free kick, total waste. Can't hit it that flat and that hard. Expecting anyone to do anything with it.
Fiori. Trossard. Still possession, Spurs very much a flat back five. Subimendi. Timber. Arsenal, who have been on the run for 10 games in a row. Draw Sunderland last time out. Game that many expected them to win. Came up against their own player, Granit Xhaka, in fine form. Spence to Danso. Spurs trying to play their way out and once again unsuccessfully. Every derby needs a protagonist. I figure who changes the shape of the contest. Also hoping that Declan Rice could play that part today.
Yeah, that was that lovely scoop delivery from Eza. Hit it beautifully, unfortunately straight out the goalie. Gets his knees behind him. They just about dealt with that. That's happened about 8 times, I would say, already in this first half, where the central defenders have got the ball and they're trying to find Richarlison or Kudus or whatever they are. They're giving it straight away to a red shirt.
Of course, Kathy has looked comfortable so far, nothing to fluster him. Here he is in possession. Saliba. Transfer day, home signing from Leverkusen, who won the Bundesliga in Germany with them 2 seasons ago. First Ecuadorian to play for Arsenal, Piero Hincapié. Today his first Premier League start. Trossard. Touching space, but Trossard continues. Now he's lost it. Richarlison. Kudus. Richarlison to Kudus again. Inside Subimendi. Some hunting impacts. With it back.
Robert and Kudus are kind of playing as 2 number 10s really, just in behind Richarlison. That's going to happen. Jet Spence and Bobby fell off a bit. They're giving him a little bit of an outboard. Because they've been on the back foot for coaching half an hour now, you can't get those wing backs in an advanced position yet.
Fiori. Straight to Timber. Didn't catch it as he wanted. This was Charlison leading in. Over that first few inches, Van struggling, made it back goal side.
Yeah, he looked second favourite, didn't he? He just uses that incredible pace that he's got, gets his body in, gets the right side, and second a chance for Yuri and Timber just vanished pretty quickly.
Sixth striking goal again today for Mikel Merino. Just one Premier League goal so far this campaign, being at Newcastle in September. Played 1/3 of this North London derby completed already. Charlison.
Well there, Richarlison. That's more like it. We need that. We need him turning those lost causes into something more significant. He did that well there.
During the international break, slinging a few long throws for Austria. Let's see if he can get the distance here. There is a good rolling up area here. There's plenty of space off the edge of the near touchline. Here he goes. Good propulsion. Referee's whistle comes as a relief for Arsenal.
Yeah, don't foul in those situations. Don't give anything unnecessary away. So he can hurl that ball, can't he? He can really throw it. And get the best movement. And they could be in business there, Spurs. They've got some good guys who will go and attack that. Yeah, all the numbers, as you could well imagine, after approaching 32 minutes in favour of the home team.
Did not want to give any space there.
Great play, Bukayo Saka. Draws the white shirts closer, then Elf just nips it in between Benjamin's legs. Into Kerr certainly doesn't have that recovery pace. So he's always going to grab him and haul him down, knowing full well now he's got to be very smart.
Caution for the Uruguayan. Arsenal showpiece.
I wonder if they're trying to find better ways of defending Arsenal from set players by defending deeply here, Connor. Again, right on the 6-yard line. It comes with risks, this, because any little deflection and the goalkeeper's in massive trouble.
There's not as much space for Arsenal to run into, but they can start closer to the goal line.
And it's a different delivery that Saka's got to give.
Reaction, knowing any little touch ahead of him and he would have been in trouble.
Great strike. And that's all you can do there, you know. Almost take it as a shot, whether it's throwing it to indirect and get people running across the corner.
It's Calafiori. With a few other coaches and look at what Spurs are doing here today.
Lovely strike. Any little nick there, if anyone gets a tiny glancing header on that, then the goalkeeper would have no chance. It would be past him in a flash, but again, it just gives Arsenal a little bit more to think about.
Looks like he'll do so. Launched one into the goal area down the other end a moment ago. Here comes Calafiori. Richarlison. Esse. Back to the Italian Calafiori again. Here's Trossard. Good play by Van der Vaart. Really good defending again.
So that's the right idea from the end of Trossard there. Place shoulder, keep it alive in the box. Marino tries to get on it, but very well mastered by that.
Dobby looks out for the Arsenal throw. We had to go restart all 12 of Spurs Premier League games this season. Saliba. Capien. Manchester City looking on to from the fire and hoping that they see their teams drop points yesterday. But also will drop points here too. Lessen the damage impacts from almost a really sensational day at the top flight on Saturday. Saka, Timber, and Arsenal receives. Comes off the defender's foot and gives Dancer no chance to recover it. Is there going to be a changing of the guard at the top of English football this season? A slice momentum grows.
Great time for them to score. It is 7 minutes before half time. Continue bringing the stadium alive.
Arsenal hope they're only really going forward in the title next year's. Scored something last time out the Anton Trossard. Scored at 4 of October. Not the first time today he made that creeping run in behind the Spurs defence.
He does that. He does that probably as well as anybody in the Arsenal ranks this time. He's very, very, very clever at that. Perfect timing, nice delivery. As I said, he had to kind of engineer himself into the right position to make the final strike and get it away.
Conceding goals late in the first half of games. Only 15 minutes in the first half. No other side has conceded more goals in the Premier League this season.
No. Well, look, they don't have to try and go crazy for the next 10 minutes to try and get back in the game. That wouldn't be wise, because if one becomes two, then all of a sudden Spurs are in serious bother. But at half time, they've got to sort a few things, and they've got to flip the mindset. The mindset's got to change. They've got to be braver, more courageous, get the ball forward behind Arsenal and get people up to it.
Trossard. Solid thus gives possession back to Spurs. Well, last season Arsenal went behind in this fixture and they came back to win 2-1. They're very familiar how the Paisley plans swing in these Northern London derbies. Thomas Frank's team, who were 2-0 down at Burnley Clintonley. The European competition not so long ago, they came back to draw 2-2. Cool deflection of Ricky van der Ven. The other day they guided the shot wide. We're putting another look at the second maybe some treatment here of that big moment once again for Leandro Trossard.
Yeah, great play. Really good work. Comes to Marino, he's dropped off the line. Here he comes off the right side. Leandro Trossard here. Great spot. First touch probably not ideal, but he does really well, you know, to swivel and somehow get a strike on time. He gets a bit of good form during off the Van de Ven, but I don't think anybody can really deny Arsenal the fact that they've been the better team without really overworking the carrier.
Earlier from Romero.
There you go, Spurs yet to sting the gloves of David Raya at all.
Space.
Because he's such a classy player, he will always take that extra second if he thinks it's available to him. He will always just pause where others might just rush the shot. Even the look just waits and eventually gets there. Whether or not there's some red shirts in an offside position right in front of this ball as it's hit. And that's been quite a controversial subject lately. I don't think so. I think he just manages to squeeze that in through. And I think there was traffic in probably a run beyond and out of the way. And Mikel Arteta knows that is huge. That's a massive lead now.
What was a good start, it's become a brilliant start. It's his second Premier League goal, also comes from there, is it is a steep mountain for Spurs to climb now.
Well, because Marino's not that conventional 9 and he drops off, and because they've got Eze playing as a 10, they can't cope. Bentancur and Gallina, they can't get close to anybody in there. Thomas Frank, if he's going to get a foothold back into this game, he needs something happening for his team in the middle of the park. So quite simply have no kick.
He goes himself 5 minutes. This North London derby firmly Arsenal's favour. And is working towards protecting the title race even more so Arsenal's favour. Thomas Frank of all the devices and the conciliating advice, but he has got to find a way to first of all stabilise what's happening here. And then try and shift the ball. It's not going to be easy with Arsenal in this mood as Trossard sets off again. Bentancur pursuit. Tough Calafiori for the monster throw.
Great goal, great composure again in those side areas. Comes to him, he just checks his shoulder to recognise a bit of room. Look, there's a lot of traffic in front of the goal at the time of the corner. He strikes it. It's kind of moved out of the way just as it reveals itself towards Vicario. I don't think it was ever going to get chalked off that one.
4 goals in his last 4 appearances there against Spurs. Palace and Arsenal combined. That feels like a moment for him. You know, that's what they've seen of him so far. But that's the sort of thing that in decades from now, Arsenal fans will remember what it is.
Well, we've seen him score, certainly in his Palace days, some very special goals. As you said, Connor, that one, he knows that it's a significant one, it's a really important one.
Spurs only scored one goal across both. Get anything here today, they're going to have to score twice without reply now. Probably having to try to recapture a poor pass. We move into stoppages at the end of the first period, 3 minutes to be added on. Bentancur to Dancer.
Well, I thought Spurs were a bit sluggish first quarter out. They got through that little spell and then they might have felt that they got through the worst of it. And then all of a sudden the game's got away from them very quickly.
Between Timber and Duggan. Both players ended up on the deck, which clearly big howls from the crowd.
Yeah, it's a foul, Uriah Timber, and a card really. Because he totally body checked Preston Body originally. And then it all got a little bit daft. To Richarlison's feet a lot, and he's a runner. He's not a Harry Kane who's going to receive the ball and do great things with it under pressure. It's just not his game. He's got to be on the move. He's got to find better ways to keep him involved. I think the two forward players are inside him with them now, and that's because they're playing with wing backs, but they haven't got the halfway line. And it's shaking the team isn't working out too.
So many North London derbies in recent years. This was been a real problem for Spurs so far. Not Liverpool, of course. This could be the final action out of the first half with the 3 minutes almost expired. 15 years to the week since Tottenham Hotspur last won a Premier League game away at Arsenal. They feel as far away as ever right now. The first Englishman to score in his first North London derby in the league for Arsenal since Ian Wright and Kevin Campbell did it, both in the same game back in December 1991. Trossard sent Arsenal on their way. Eze has got his big moment in an Arsenal shirt.
He's always thinking in that corner. Look at him again in that position, just dropping off, holding. And then doesn't really want to go with him, distracted. And all of a sudden he's got a little bit of space. And that is all Bielsa needs to just get that on the left foot. Great first touch. And that's a very close shot now. When you look at the foot sometimes, you're inclined to just get your head down and hit it hard. He strokes that one. Passes that one into the corner and then it's a beautiful finish.
36 seconds after the restart. Croatia gets his second of the game. He's on a hat-trick now. Poor old Thomas Frank, because whatever he said to try and rouse the spirits or change the tactics, well, immediately that's all falling flat.
Yeah. Just thinking back on that Declan Rice volley in the first 10 minutes that was well saved by Vicario. And that was a lesson there, that was a warning there in some ways about getting tight, about denying people, about getting your face and your body in the line of shots and crosses, etc. Spurs haven't done that.
Spurs bringing on Jamie Simmons to try and change things, doesn't he? Even at the touch of the ball before they set it into the back of the net again. Arsenal 3, Spurs 0, and they've been worth every bit of it.
Really good goal. It's turning out to be some afternoon for Mikel Arteta and his staff as well.
Such lovely finishes. Space to have the shots were just as impressive as both goals. Spurs have got to be fearful now that this scoreline could really run away from them.
Yes. 3-0. That does start to go through your mind. Adding up to 3 and walk on in Derby, but you never want to be fired. Even worse than that, it'll become a real horror.
Thomas Frank has tried to bring a new positivity. Performances have many of the shades of some of the darker days of which Preston Conkling's way. It's Paulino. Jack Simmons. Simmons again. Is proving so difficult for Thomas Frank's team at the moment. Yeah, alongside Salah with a new look. Arsenal central defence, but they have not been tested, let alone flustered.
I don't think Richarlison's had the game, even facing the goal. And he's back to play since minute 1.
Flags by Saliba. Submission to held on to Simmons. Jacolia. Spurs briefly get it back, but they cannot keep it. Saka. Referees his play off. Subi Mendy. He's allowed Christian Romero makes it a 40 challenge.
Lovely fast break from Arsenal once more. Good advantage played by Michael Oliver early on there as well, which allowed Declan Rice to feed Trossard. He's looking for us there. And he will need to feed maybe the roundabout chance for actually. Romero have not just got his head on that.
So far, obviously there was a UEFA Super Cup defeat to Paris Saint-Germain by very narrow margins at the start of the campaign. Spurs have lost 1-0 at home to Bournemouth, 2-1 at home to Aston Villa. They lost 2-0 away at Newcastle, 1-0 at home to Chelsea. But Thomas Frank has not lost by 3 goals in this job yet. Really struggled with the impact of the game. Saka. Timber received that briefly. Toki. Simmons. And then he gets again. There's the aggression, they need to be competitive, but they've got to stay on the right side of the rules.
It gets difficult, kind of when you're 3 down in a derby. And you do see a lot of this. I'd be a liar if I said I haven't done that myself. You start to lunge in and dive in and just lose a lot of the focus and the discipline that you know you're going to try and keep.
Set up in the general vicinity of the Emirates Stadium. It's been that sort of evening from the red side of North London. Declan Rice is doing such a good free kick.
Wasn't it just beautiful? Pace on it, trajectory, everything was spot on.
From Bentancur, this is Kudus. To the Arsenal final third, eventually stopped by Superman. 21 on Friday, Wilson over there. Attempts to roll the shuttle time for Thomas Frank.
Lots of discussions going on between Thomas Frank and his staff. We need something remarkable to happen now. They've got to get a foothold in the game first before they can even consider getting on the score sheet.
Last time they scored has been also in the Premier League here. They went 2-0 down and they came back to win 3-2. They need to go even. Saka. Richarlison tries to touch the keeper off his goal. Deep in his Brazilian DNA, with a sparkling instinct, and maybe, just maybe, a cleaver. Spurs who've offered nothing have pulled off something spectacular.
Oh, what a goal that is. I think this is the first time Richarlison has had a chance. Look at how happy he was. What a goal that is. That is a brilliant finish. It really is. Because David Raya saw it and he recognised it and he was backpedaling all the way. And he must have thought he was going to get there. Look, he's just been done perfectly by Richarlison.
Daniel Arsenal looking to rectify. Richarlison's goal, his first in a North London derby. He's fifth in the Premier League this campaign. And for the first time today, Spurs have something to feel positive about. Something maybe, just maybe, to build up.
Well, something that will certainly give them a lift. Now all of a sudden they are starting to think about what can they do to tweak it and improve on that. But some goal lights, even when they're too casual in possession, didn't need to take those extra touches, could have got rid of it. So it was wholly preventable, that goal. But what a finish. Lots of credit for Richarlison.
Well, if you're only going to have one attempt, that's not a bad one to have.
Not bad at all, is it?
Still here.
Yeah, he'll be kicking himself a bit because he knows that he could have actually rolled that ball to the right side. Took an extra couple of touches, Colin, sorry, and got caught.
Well, should have been a player who sort of prides himself on not allowing that kind of thing to happen. It's got to do with Richarlison's confidence the way he got that finish. There we go. his feet. The referee, I don't think he's going to take any further action there.
Trying to get close and get a bit tighter. He actually doesn't make any challenge at all, does he? It's not a foul. It's not a foul. It's the follow through from Zubimendi. One free kick, that's all there.
Richarlison goes just dampened some of the body issues on the Emirates, understandably. Arsenal still a very healthy 2-goal lead. Here's Calafiori. Goals change games, and little mistakes like that weren't happening before that moment of magic from Richarlison.
Very true.
Christian Romero. Supposed to only have 2 touches of the ball inside the rest of the penalty area. Richarlison. There's no need to try to get into the box, that would be fruitless. It's done well.
Very well there, Jed Spence. Really put his foot to the floor and got goal side there, Leandro Trossard.
The Arsenal fans were booing was because for the first time today you could hear audibly Spurs fans singing. That's not been a feature of the game. Arsenal fans were keen to hush them down. Keeping clearance. Paulinho crunching it again. That's the sort of attitude Spurs need more of. Silvers. Last touch come off the Spurs player. That's going to be a free kick.
But at least now they're starting to get tighter, making a few challenges, turning the ball over a little bit more, Spurs.
North London derbies as a player, Mikel Arteta, a good record too. 5 wins, 2 defeats. Knows what this fixture is all about. Trossard. Exports to the British He's inconsistent in that regard. He's passes of a similar, tackles of a similar to that goal today.
I think he's right to there as well.
Pulis. Step on this. Today, for Arsenal's number 10. So we can sleep well, Mark. 4 goals already. I think there will be more twists in the turn of this North London derby.
That's when Richarlison came in. Just might have caught Eze as he was laying on the floor. He's back up on his feet, good. He's okay. For an Arsenal player. Spurs having been given just a little bit of a lifeline with that incredible goal from Richarlison. So now Arsenal know that Spurs are going to be squeezing, going to be pushing, going to be seeing if they can make something happen in the next 10 or 15 minutes to set themselves up for a grandstand finish.
Technical area, visitors are going to make. We're seeing double change. He's grown small, but he does look a bit more anxious now than he was when this game was 3-0.
I think it was the applause that Mikel Arteta was quite disappointed.
Sarcastic applause.
Yeah, when we saw that decision given, and whether it was towards the referee or not, I don't know.
The last free kick that Dr. Willis swung in was brilliant. Let's see if he can provide us with a penalty again. Vicario, who can only punish. Looking for the hat-trick. Saliba. He got there, and he's working on the inside.
Actually thought William Saliba was just going to hit that on the volley on his left foot. When it dropped for him, he was in an offside position, so yeah. And we found the goal out of nothing. Time to make a couple of positive changes.
Randall Kolo Mawali, he's getting ready to come on. And Pape Sarr too. Pape Sarr, who didn't play for Senegal during the international break. He's sort of managing an injury problem. So he needs something very special there. Carlos Tours, they waited, but eventually up to the halfway line, come straight back at him again. Trying to nurture there's a little bubble of optimism that they created with the Richarlison goal to try and build it into something more substantial. John Polina has been probably their best player this second half. Richarlison, Simmons. Once again, he's comfortable with David Wright.
I think the white shirts in the box, thought Xavi Simons there was going to whip that one in, give them something to attack. As it was, Simons decided to pop and straight into the arms of Raya.
Randall Kolo is about to come on with some protective headgear. He has been nursing a jaw injury. Obviously, we'll work that together anyway, so we have some protective gear. I'm sure they'll sort of just a little. Still 24 minutes plus the stoppages, still plenty of time for Spurs if they can get their act together. Simmons. Van de Ven. I'll tell you what, the shortest goal for Spurs, it's the furthest distance scored in the Premier League this season. 35.3 yards out.
Great finish. Really was. Again, he was chasing down after Zubimendi. Once he pitched the ball, he quickly recognised David Raya was vulnerable and just finished it really well.
Long-range Tottenham goals, David Bentley hit a strike.
I remember it, yeah.
This day in 2008, it was even further out. Right, so Wilson over there hasn't really happened for him today. There is Randall Kolo with his especially adaptive stuff to protect the jaw. Trickle Bentancur is the player who licks away. Pape Sarr's arrival into midfield. Bentancur was on the yellow card, which will be part of that deliberation.
Yes, absolutely right. And João Paulinho is an energetic boy. He's one that will get tight to people and try and get a foot in. Bentancur more of a player.
Mourinho.
Did very well there. It was just for a split second. It looked like Bukayo Saka got that one down on the floor and was about to hit it. Destiny Udogie at the right time, just making sure he was there to intercept. Spurs won't be too slow in this build-up either now. Clock's ticking away. Arsenal just going to sit behind the ball. They've got to stretch. Arsenal, they've got to try and find ways to get that ball in wide areas now. They're playing with a back four. And get that ball delivered in the box. I haven't seen a lot of that from them.
This one in Capier, but Calafiore mopping up behind. Almost midway through the second pulling his shirt. Still has the fire in the eyes, Thomas Frank, still has the belief. Selena makes the best of it. This is Timber. So just trying to capture the full image and brings it to Yes, it's the shooting, but it's again, Paulinho. Effort to shift the flow of this game at times. Simmons to Richarlison. Cappy had to be careful. He's on the penalty area there. Paulinho's got too much didn't want to try the team down here. Really too pumped up on the cross.
They've got extra bodies in there. It allows Jalapeno to do naturally what he does very well, and that's to try and get in and around it. But you can see that last 10 minutes, Spurs, for the first time in the game really, have been dominant with the ball.
It's difficult for the referees because they do have a duty of care. And if the player intimates the head injury, then there's a requirement to stop the game.
Yeah, it just takes one there in the face, doesn't it, from Van der Ven? Again, I think the Tottenham man is getting set, ready to jump and getting ready to use the elbows for leverage. It does happen, I'm afraid. Not everything always has to be ultra sinister.
Just in the middle of all that, Christian Romero was shown a yellow card. It was for dissent. And that is a costly one for Christian Romero because it triggers a suspension. And he will miss Spurs next game. They have got full control of the Premier League next weekend.
Very good challenge. It's just a fraction away from Papsar. Just couldn't quite stretch and get on the end of that.
So flat.
Clever little ball. Good little ball out from Richarlison out the corner.
Consistency remains the conundrum for Spurs. It's only been once since Thomas Frank's arrival and they've won 2 league games in a row. Those are the very first 2 Premier League matches in the campaign back in August. Romero, who's got such high standards, the work what he's achieved with the national team in Argentina. There's some of the talents amongst this Spurs squad, but are they getting the best out of their combined talents? Romero's heading again there. Snapshots. Vicario wasn't going to take any chances for it.
Yeah, nothing like Bukayo Saka. It's down onto the left foot, doesn't even have a look. Knows exactly where he wants to put it. Wouldn't have been far away at all, would it? Vicario able to get there because there's just not quite enough pace on it, but lovely strike.
Corners usually such a huge part to the narrative for both these teams really, but just the second corner of the afternoon here. Let's see what Declan Rice can provide. Superpowers. They disappear the first man here. And Eze can't follow up in a continuing pursuit for his hat-trick. Trossard got the first one for Arsenal, and 2 for Neves Eze. There's three goals will still be enough to comfortably win this from Mikel Arteta. Fiore, Hazard. That's a wonderful manner of shifting his balance. Calafiore leaves it. Mourinho helps it on, so he takes the ball to Gray. It's absolute political referee there, but considerable practical disadvantage on the way. Corner kick.
Great play from Leandro Trossard. They just happened to be standing in a position that just interrupted him and interfered with him a little bit there. Saliba was just making sure he's getting his body in and protecting the space.
hobbles off to double change for Spurs. Takes on Paul, well placed jet space as well. Brian Chelsea came on just ahead of that.
Lots of changes for Spurs now, but not too late. 3-1. I just thought they might go a little bit more direct to try and make something happen. Just into that back four, but really didn't get behind us or anything like enough to really worry them and unsettle the crowd. Very anxious, never really happy. See that one through that gate all the way and get some nice little pain to that.
That's just scored in the early stages in the second half. We wondered if that's going to run away with this. They've now got the closing. They're going to try those first starters to really put Spurs to the soul. Declan Rice. Richarlison for a good dash forward into his own introduction. Come on, just playing it early. So he stays himself.
I think this is Xavi Simons. I think as he came on the field, the third goal went in. Leo Trossard has also played very well today. Again, spoke about the importance of that first goal. His role is always an important one for this Arsenal team, whether it's in a starting position or coming off the bench. I think the truth be told today, Thomas Frank's picked the wrong shape. Well, certainly didn't adjust that shape when he wasn't working in the first half. It's like as I said, they started slowly, Spurs, after 15 minutes. They really had any impact at all. He must have been getting a bit of a vibe, but it wasn't really working. Having Kudus and Odegaard narrow behind Richarlison. It was all Arsenal, really.
Arsenal's with 5 goals against Leeds United in all this. Could they reach that tally before the end of proceedings today? Otherwise, they're enough to win a corner. Made his way forward for the corner kick here. Spurs top scorer this season. Always plenty of goals and country corners actually for Van der Ven. Simons, by Rice. Porro. They say. We saw Richarlison score for a while there. 4 times as actual existence. I've never seen anyone shoot from that far. Well, his other hat-trick, you think he could do anything now. You think of all the talented the competitive game between Arsenal and Spurs was Alan Sunderland in December 1978.
That's amazing stat, that one.
The last corner came in. pass from Declan Rice. Came first to beat the first defender, but he got a second chance. Van der Veer. Paulinho. Daniel Johnson. Everything's so rushed and early for Spurs. He's going to come up against the first opponent today. So it's going to be this sort of potent form there, I don't know, for Thomas Frank.
Spurs' start to the season, Connor, it's not been a disastrous one, far from it. When I look at them, I'm just not sure whether Thomas Frank would really like them to be a lot more direct, play a little bit like he used to at his former club, get those forward players involved a lot quicker and a lot earlier, as opposed to sometimes overplaying a little bit. I think they look like a team that's just caught up between the two somewhere.
So passing it now, Declan Rice. So about to move, 6 points clear on the top, elbow room on top of the Premier League. In recent years they've occupied that top spot, of course, so regularly. You know, it's who's there in May is what really counts. But the bigger that lead can become, going into the busy festive period, and honestly, in this sort of mood, will they ever get a better chance than this to win the Premier League than Mikel Arteta?
And where their major opponents are, you would feel. Certainly Chelsea are obviously very close, but City will push. 7 points is not insurmountable at all, push for them either. But it's a good position that Arsenal find themselves in. It really is.
Interesting to see Chelsea in second place though, because next weekend, this day actually against Sunday, it is Chelsea against Arsenal in the Premier League. Just this defeat we see Spurs dropped down to the 9th place as things stand. That's after Aston Villa's victory earlier today. 4 minutes of normal time to go, and Reiki to Calafiori. It's too far in front of Declan Rice. Scarf around his neck. She's got a hamstring injury that we believe is not far from the return. And so hoping to go on Wednesday, they'll go Bayern Munich in the Champions League. She's Sancho's got the dates, he's stepped down against their responsibilities.
Good challenge, Nicky Vanderven there. Julian Timber was making serious open there.
So it's Declan Rice. Rice. So we have to figure out outside the shot. So what to say about that challenge from Declan Rice?
My first thought was it is a challenge from Declan Rice. That was what was doing was appending Xavi Simons.
Is out.
There'll probably be more than one now.
Yellow card coming from Declan Rice, who will appear.
I mean, look, he's up into there, he knows full well that Simons is running away and getting away, and I think they're quite right. His first place to be frustrated there.
Actually, Porro is the first to confront Declan Rice. We believe that Porro is also receiving a yellow card for that. Substitute appearance in the top flight this season. has come to a big test here. His first ever Premier League start in the cause of the North London derby and he didn't front row.
No, he didn't. Again, in fairness, he didn't have a lot to deal with in Man City first half, but nice and neat and tidy. Everything you want to be when you're playing your first North London derby, your first game.
Christian Mosquera on for the closing stages. Defeat for the first time away from home in the Premier League under Thomas Frank. Sivigane, Song, Zidane, Champaligna, Calafiore, Scott, Johnson under wraps.
Defended well and always the threat in the opposing box and prepared to run beyond Bukayo Saka. Calafiore, more replays in that left back slot, and more I like watching it. Really useful.
Below 30 seconds of the regulation, 90 minutes. Salah on the outside. Out of sight today in this game. Increasingly drawing that distance at the top. Timber. Since Papadopoulos tracking back with the Dutch Warriors his international play. There's Pulsar. Much as we go, 4 minutes to be added on. 4-1 Arsenal's lead. The Arsenal fans adoring that. Arsenal simply terrible experience of the music to the ears of Arsenal fans on Derby Day. There's nothing you savour more than a finish to a match like this.
Very true. They always get the chance to enjoy these Premier League matches because it's so intense, there's always so much at stake, but the Arsenal boys now, this is very sweet play.
Comes in, Mikel Morales. Arsenal fans increasingly believing that this is their year. Rodri's first appearance since September, that'll be a boost going into the busy fixture list to come. Who's the guy who's had to be patient this season? Miles Muskelly, a real breakthrough campaign last year, but he's to be patient because of the form of his sky this time around.
Again, excellent today. Miles Muskelly kind of burst onto the scene last season. Looks so good, and as you say now, he's got a real job on his hands, backing away with this guy, but again, pretty much every base is covered with another very, very good player from Mikel Arteta.
Short, Saka, get down by Brendan Johnson. Let's just head out. It's been the story all Conte.
Yeah, hasn't been a contest really, has it? Almost at 3-1, there was a glimmer for Spurs, but they never really bought into that and made something of it. Again, Arsenal there just reasserted themselves, got that fourth, and been totally dominant really. From the first whistle, their attitude, they've been sharp, they've been on it, they've looked like they meant business today. In the second half, really, they've had passages and spells where they hardly got out of second gear.
This is going to be 8 defeats in the last 10 Premier League North London derbies for Spurs. Somewhere in the distance, you can almost hear Destiny Blue explode for Arsenal. Bridesmaid so regularly in recent campaigns. Can they keep this going? Jones. Timber. Steps on the ball. Here's Jack Paulinho. A quite sensational performance, not just from Patrick as the full force of 15 years of home